Here's a question that's come in. Can a Christian donate sperm? Well, yes, a Christian could donate sperm, but the question is it a good thing to do so? Here's the basic principle that we have to look at. In God's plan, sex and babies go together. In our modern world, we have ruptured the two. And our first rupture is, I want to have the sex without the babies, right? That's the whole contraceptive mentality. Give me the pleasure without the responsibility of child rearing. But then we've taken that same logic, and with modern technology, we've just flipped that on the other flippity-flappity side, and we've said, I want the babies without the sex. And the church, in her wisdom, says both are wrong for the very same reason. And that reason is that sex and babies go together. My brothers and sisters, there are limits to our freedom. Why? Well, please raise your hand if you asked to exist. Nobody asks to exist, which means our existence is a gift. Totally gratuitous gift. Ultimately from the God who wanted us to exist. How did he want us to exist? We have to receive the world as it has been given to us if we are to flourish. And there is nothing more fundamental in this natural world than the very reality of conception and birth. Indeed, the very word nature, natus in Latin, means birth. Think of nativity, right? Think of prenatal, right? Various English words that we get from that Latin natus, including the word nature. If we want to speak of a natural law, a law written into nature that we have to respect in order to flourish, then the beginning of that natural law or respect for it has to be a respect for the very nature of birth, which is redundant if we understand the meaning of the word nature in Latin, right? Natus, birth. It is God's plan that life would come to be through the loving union of that person's parents. When we fail to respect natus, when we fail to respect the nature of things, we never flourish. Things go terribly wrong. And the fundamental nature of things flows from the relationship of man, woman, child. When you separate those things out, things go terribly wrong. And I can just tell you a story that maybe illustrates the point. I remember some years ago, I had given a talk in a certain town. I can't remember where it was, doesn't matter. But the person who had arranged the talk was driving me to the airport. And we had talked about some of these issues in my presentation. It had come up in the Q&A about sperm donation and artificial insemination and in vitro fertilization. So it was in that context that he shared a very personal story. He shared that his 10-year-old child had been conceived through artificial insemination. And he said, how am I going to explain one day to my daughter when we have, that conversation about where babies come from? How am I going to explain that you came into the world when your daddy went to a clinic and looked at porn and masturbated into a little dish, and then the doctor took a syringe and squirted it into your mother? And the anguish on his face as he shared this with me demonstrated the point. We are changing fundamental human realities, fundamental human relationships, fundamental ties that are meant to bind in family life. The marital act is not only the origin of family life, it's the glue that binds the whole thing together. When you seek children in ways that are apart from that glue. The very fabric of the family starts to unravel. I would encourage you in closing, watch a documentary on Netflix, and we'll put a link for it in the description below, called Our Father. It's the tragic story of where the culture goes when we fail to respect the nature of things, that sex and babies belong together. It's the story of women who, over many years, went to this one fertility clinic, and they were injected not with the sperm of their husband that they thought was being used, but they were injected with the sperm of the doctor at the clinic. So 25 and 30 years later, through these websites like 23andMe, where you can get your DNA tested, these half-siblings started to discover each other. And the count went up over 100, I'm pretty sure. 100 half-siblings who lived within like a 25-mile radius and all had the same biological father. When we mess with the natural reality of things at this level, chaos is the result. Can a Christian donate his sperm? He can, but is it a good thing to do? No. No, because you're breaking from the natural reality of things as God designed it to be. Lord, open our eyes to the beauty and splendor of your plan for our sexuality. Help us to hear your beautiful love song in all of nature and teach us how to dance in step with it. That's the splendor and glory of Catholic teaching on human sexuality. It's not an oppressive list of rules meant to keep us from the things we want. Rather, it's the love song of God and the invitation to dance in step with all of nature, singing that love song back to God. If you want to learn more about how to dance in step with this beautiful love song, click TOB for free in the description, and we will send you 3 free sessions to our introductory Theology of the Body course. You will not regret it.